This video tutorial is going to cover the use of Google Fusion tables as it pertains to the Santa Barbara Breeding Bird Study database. So the window you see at this point is what you would see when you first open up the Google Fusion table for the database, and you can see that it looks somewhat similar to a spreadsheet in that you've got columns of data going across the columns here at the top, column name, common name, latitude, longitude, etc. Coming down the rows, you have breeding bird sightings that have been entered into the database. Okay, above the column names you have the records numbers that you're looking at, in this case 1 to 100. You can see that there is 4,935 sightings in the database. If you click the right arrow, it will scroll you to the next 100 sightings and the next 100 sightings. The left arrow, the previous 100 sightings. The double right arrow will take you to the an increase of 1,000. So now we're looking at 1,000, 2,000. And then the left arrow takes you back to the very beginning of the database. Okay, so you've got quite a few different records here all the way across. Everything that's in the database is shown here. So this is the table view of data. It's useful. We also have the map view. The map view shows you all of the data that's currently selected or filtered or not filtered, as the case may be, on the map. And it's basically a Google map because we're using Google tools. It acts like a Google map. You can show terrain on the map. You can show a satellite view of the map. You can turn off the labels, whatever you prefer. You can scroll into, zoom into with your mouse wheel. You can also use the zoom buttons down here. Each sighting in the database is represented by a little red dot. And if you click on the little red dot, it will pop up a little window that shows you all the data that was in the table for that observation that was submitted. If you get a lot of these little guys clumped together, well, then you just have to zoom in a little closer to get them spread apart so you can easily select the one you're interested in. Over here on the left, it shows you on the map view how many rows of data are currently being viewed. So that's maps. There's a second map. It's new, hasn't been here but for a day or two. I'm not quite sure what it's up to. We'll just have to keep our eyes and ears open on that one. Cards shows you a sort of indexed card type view of the data that's in the table as well. Just a different way of looking at it. Probably easier for reading, and you can probably just copy and paste data like that if you're interested in doing that to a text document or whatever you're interested in putting the data into. If we go back to the table view, there's one thing we haven't talked about here is the filter. The filter is where the power comes from. So if you say we want to look at a specific species of bird, let's see, we'll take a look at turkey vultures. So I type in turkey. That's a quick way to find things. And if you hit find, it brings up everything with that keyword in it. So we have turkey and wild turkey. So I click on turkey vulture, and it shows 1 of 7, or 1 to 7 of 7 sightings are in the database. And so these are the 7 different sightings. So that's a way to extract from the full database something that you are interested in. Now, unfortunately, one of the idiosyncrasies of the Fusion tables is that the filters do not follow you to your different views. So you really need to decide on how you want to view your data before you decide on what data you want to look at. So if you want to look at where the turkey vultures were in a map view, then you go to the map view and then you type in turkey, and click on the turkey vulture, and now we have a map with the 7 turkey vulture sightings on them. You click on one sighting and the window pops up for that sighting of what was seen or what was placed into the database. But the even more powerful comes with combining filters. So let's take a look at the observer, and let's type in Mr. Holmgren. And remember that all the names in the database are last name, comma, first initial, so the last name is what you want to really look for. So we see that Mark Holmgren has now 3 reports for turkey vultures in Santa Barbara County. So that's kind of cool. So you can narrow your searches down by any of the columns that you want to select for different values. And as you add filters, they might get a little crowded in here. You can collapse just down to their name, so you know that you have an observer and a common name, and then you could add another filter below there, or you can expand them up. Okay, we can also say, okay, well, we want to see turkeys, but we also want to see what he's done with tricolored blackbirds at the same time. Okay, so now we've got 5 rows, not 3. And so you can add in, if you want to see something that's, say you wanted to look at shorebirds, so you could start adding different sandpipers and plovers and cougars and that type of thing for a person, or whatever, however you wanted to look at your data. You can add within the species, and you can add filters for different parts of the different columns of the database. So an interesting thing that happened to me a few weeks ago, or actually a couple of months ago now, is our landscaper came to us and said, we're gonna trim the palm trees and we want to start next week. And I go, well, you know, you may not want to do that right now. It's time that the birds are breeding in the palm trees. And he goes, well, how long do I have to wait? I go, well, not too sure, but I can get back to you. So I came to the database and I selected a filter. This is a really simple thing. Nest species. Okay, now nest species, what does that mean? Nest species is the species of vegetation that the nest was seen in. So I'm going to type in palm. I'm going to hit find because that brings up all the boxes really nice and easily. And I'm going to select all the different palms because I have no idea what kind of palm trees we have here. And I'm going to say 35 species were found. Okay. So now I can take a look at that data and I can go, well, okay, so this will give him with the date, range of dates, what the window of time is that we've observed in the county birds breeding in palm trees. Okay, so what do I do with this data? So now I come over here to the File menu, and I come down to the bottom where it says Download. And when I say Download, I want filtered rows, because I certainly don't want all the rows in the database. And I want to come to a CSV file, and I say Download, and I get a dialog for my Open Office Calc, and it brings the data right into a spreadsheet for me. And then I can take this spreadsheet data and I can sort it and do whatever else I want to it, um, and send it off to our landscaper. He was quite impressed with all the work I went to get him all this data. I didn't let him know that it was about 5 minutes of work in reality, so he was impressed, and I was happy that we didn't have to worry about our palm trees being shaved prematurely when breeding birds might be in them. Okay, one other thing I want to mention before I go is in the column headers, if you hover, you can see you get a little gray arrow. That means that you can sort the view that you're looking at, or you can perform finds or hides or views, whatever is allowed for that data type for that column. So that's another way you can do things. So you can sort dates or whatever you want. So that's all kind of cool stuff that you can use to find and analyze data in the database, and that you can also export it to your own system, so that you can then further put the data in reports or whatever you need down the road. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you will explore the data within the database, and even more so, I hope that you will help Santa Barbara Audubon and Cheadle Center in and contribute your breeding bird sightings to the breeding bird study of Santa Barbara. Thank you.